Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How you doing? A big mahalo for tuning in. I really appreciate you checking this out. We're getting to speak with another musician who's performing on the bill with Steel Pulse. It's an honor to welcome one of the most popular contemporary music artists here in the islands. On the line, my warmest aloha welcome for Matisyahu. Aloha and mahalo, my brother.
Mahalo, brother.
Thank you for being my guest. And Island Connections, I always like to go over with anyone I'm speaking with. Certainly you're a guy that if anyone's ever driven around with the radio on here in the islands, they've heard your voice over the last several years at least. And when did you first make it out here to the islands, Matis?
Let's see, what did I come out? I'm trying to remember if I've been into Hawaii once or twice. I was definitely there last February.
Right.
Because it was a day called right before Purim. It was a fasting day, and I fasted that day. I remember walking around, I guess, somewhere there. And so anyway, I was there, and I think I was there once before that as well. Probably 4 or 5 years before that. I remember driving around at one point and getting hit with one of those double rainbows, and thinking to myself that, yeah, I think this is probably one of the most beautiful, probably in the top 3 most beautiful places I've ever been.
The double rainbow will do it to you.
Double rainbow will do it, and the colors. I remember like the green of the grass, the color being so green, you know?
Yeah, man, that's a nice memory. Do you have any friends or family out here?
Not really.
You never know, somebody will be like, yeah, my cousin lives over on Maui, or I'm tight with Willie Nelson.
I have hung out with Willie Nelson one time on his tour bus, and who was there was the girl from Mermaid. Remember that movie, The Mermaid, in the 80s?
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah was hanging. Yeah, they were smoking spliffs on the bus. Yahoo.
When was that?
It's an interesting mix of people, isn't it?
It was you, Daryl Hannah, and Willie?
Yeah. That was at a festival on Randall's Island that Willie does with Neil Young.
Farm Aid,
yeah. Willie was cool.
He's a nice guy. And that's a great story for you. And when you're back in the islands, I'm sure you're going to be drawing a lot of people out to see you. Certainly reggae originates from Jamaica. And you may have already figured out that reggae has a huge place in Hawaii. It's a very big thing here. So I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on the inter-island connectedness of reggae.
I do think that, obviously reggae music is such a big part of, the Hawaiian culture, and it's become that. I don't think it was always that way, but I do think it's interesting. And they played in Jamaica, played and recorded in Jamaica a couple of years ago. Where else? What other islands have I played? Is Puerto Rico an island?
Yes, it is.
Been in Puerto Rico.
That is very much an island. What was your reaction like in Jamaica?
It was cool, but it was a little bit of a weird festival. It was actually a little bit of a strange reaction because we played at Jazz and Blues Fest in Kingston, which is more of a middle-aged crowd. I think in general our take on reggae is a little bit different. My music, I guess, is really fusion, and I think it was also raining. It was pretty late, and I think they were a little bit like, what is this?
I like that. That's a cool, at least you have a nice honest assessment. You're known for being from the New York area, but I know you were actually born just outside Philly. How long were you there?
1 month. I was born in there, and that's it, and then we moved.
Well, there's still, but you have that little bit of connection. Do you ever eat cheesesteaks when you go back there, or no?
You know what, I'm a
vegan now.
And vegan, so cheesesteaks are pretty much out, but I found a super dope vegan kosher cheesesteak place. Only in Philly could you find that. Down by the TLA. You know where that is?
Yeah, on South Street.
Yeah, there's a place called, I think it's called Blackbird Pizza. They make Philly cheesesteaks, vegan, with no meat, no cheese, but they're cheesesteaks, and they're kosher.
What could be wrong with that?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with
Exactly.
like 3 of them every time I go. It's bad.
You're my man. I love that. When you think of your origins with the fish thing, how important was that in terms of developing your consciousness, your earthy, crunchy lifestyle? I guess I would ask you, how does a guy from, I don't think of Westchester County, New York or whatever as like a hotbed for reggae. How was it that you became this kind of cat that you are?
Like any kid anywhere in any city or town in America or in the world for that matter, I was introduced to Bob Marley, and right away, I guess it doesn't resonate with every kid, but for me it did, resonated very powerfully, and at a time when I was searching for my identity and struggling with authority, power struggles that teenagers go through, and I just related to the music, to the message, to the words that was really my introduction or my gateway into reggae music. And in terms of Fish, that was of huge importance for me, because I think that first Fish concert I ever went to, I would say, was probably the most life-changing event that I ever had. It just opened me up completely to understanding just the depth of music and how that could transport a person into a whole nother place. Aside from the music, like you were saying about the whole lifestyle, the whole crunchy, hippie kind of lifestyle, there was the scene around it. And I remember at that point I was 16 years old, being in school and not really feeling like school was doing anything for me, and feeling like I was kind of being pushed in directions I didn't want to go in, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew was I loved music. And I remember seeing kids there that were my age and even younger that had no money, nothing, and we just decided they were going to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And that was also life-changing, because that next year I basically did the same thing. I just, dropped out and followed my heart. I realized at that point I could be my own person. I could do, in my life, I could do whatever I wanted to do. I didn't need money or anything else to do it.
Oh, man, I can imagine that had you been just about a decade older, you would have been touring with the Dead, it sounds like.
Yeah. I grew up listening to Grateful Dead because my parents were into the Grateful Dead. And I also loved the Dead, but yeah, I only caught a couple of shows before Jerry died, so.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'll see you when you come to town. I have really appreciated talking to you, Matisyahu. Thank you for the time, and please travel safe, my brother. It was really cool talking. We'll catch up more when you get here.
I do.
Be safe. Aloha.
Aloha.